What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Thursday, July 20th edition of the MLB Sims video. I'm your host, Adam Scherer. You can follow me on Twitter at ShipMyMoneyDFS. We only have 3 MLB games tonight, but we're still going to take a look at the MLB Sims tool for the DraftKings slate and see what's showing up in the early afternoon as far as the best ways to approach the slate. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up on YouTube, hit the like button on Twitter. That helps us out quite a bit. And if you do want to use this tool for yourself, check the link below this video. It is relatively expensive, but if you play enough volume, if you play high enough stakes, that the cost makes sense. This tool is the biggest advantage you can get in DFS right now. It's going to help you combine everything that we talk about in our content, projections, ownership, range of outcomes, all of that stuff into one tool, and it's going to make your lineups better. You will get better at DFS using it. So if you want to start using it, sign up using the link below this video. $60 a week or $180 a month, whichever you prefer. And now we're going to walk through some of the features and look at how things are shaping up for tonight's slate, starting with just looking at the top overall lineups. You can see here in the stat column that Baltimore is showing up in a lot of these top stacks. You also have a little bit of the Cubs mixed in, some Tampa Bay mixed in. It is only a 3-game slate, so you're typically going to end up in some uncomfortable spots, and Baltimore is certainly one of those. They have a very difficult matchup tonight against Tyler Glasnow in Tampa Bay, but Tyler Glasnow is projected for nearly 70% ownership, and Baltimore is a good offense, so it makes sense just from a theory standpoint why Baltimore would be showing up so much. And we can see here we have some different stack types: 4-4 Baltimore and the Cubs at the top, 5-3 Baltimore Tampa Bay, 5-2 Baltimore and the Cubs, 5-2 Baltimore St. Louis. One other thing to note, I did the same process as I usually do, uploaded 2,000 lineups from Fantasy Cruncher, uploaded my own projections. I did allow for one hitter versus the opposing pitcher since it is only a 3-game slate. So if you see that in one of these lineups, that's fine. I let it happen since it's only 3 games. But looking at the top lineup here, it uses $48,000 in salary, so does leave some salary on the table. Hogan Harris going up against the Astros, who are expected to be the most popular stack. Kyle Gibson, not the most exciting pitcher, but good enough. And again, it's a 3-game slate. As far as the Orioles stack goes, you get Rutschman, O'Hearn, Henderson, and Santander. So good hitters, all from the left side. Also worth noting, Tyler Glasnow has always had issues holding runners. Gunnar Henderson can absolutely fly. Very good stolen base spot for him if he gets on base. And then from the Cubs side, you have Christopher Morel, Cody Bellinger, Seiya Suzuki, and where'd he go? Nico Horner. Next, we have the 5-3 Baltimore Tampa stack, again going to Hogan Harris, who is very cheap, and going to Steven Matz, who is also inexpensive against the Cubs. Rutschman, once again, Frazier, Henderson again, Santander again, and Mountcastle. And then on the Tampa Bay side, Wander Franco, Randy Arozarena, Jose Siri. So very high upside bats here. And then just punting the pitcher position using $49,400 here. The first non-Baltimore stack we have is the 5-man Cubs, 2-man Baltimore. So it's the Cubs against Mats. We have Hogan Harris, who is showing up a lot here. And I think it does make sense. He has a tough matchup against the Astros, but he is in a very good park. He's not getting much ownership. And the Astros are also very popular. So you're getting negative leverage, and that shows up so much more on 3-game slates than it does on your 9, 10-game slates. You'll hear people a lot mention negative correlation on those bigger slates, and it's still helpful. It's still a factor, but you just open the door. Those slates are a lot more susceptible to, I stacked against this 25% owned pitcher. The pitcher didn't do well, but my stack still only scored 5 runs, which wasn't useful at all because there's 17 other offenses. On a 3-game slate like this, where you have, Glasnow as a pitcher pulling 70% ownership, if Baltimore beats Glasnow, there's a good chance that they're the highest scoring team on the slate because there's only 5 other offenses. And similarly, where the Astros are the highest owned offense, coming in around 20 to 25% in terms of aggregate stacks, if they fail, there's a very good chance Hogan Harris is one of your top 2 scoring pitchers, and an even better chance he's one of your top value pitchers, given how inexpensive he is. So similar to the Orioles, Harris is just somebody where it doesn't feel good, and on a bigger slate, you wouldn't be getting to him, but here it's sort of just like, why not? He's in a good park. If he pitches well, a large percentage of the field is struggling because they have the Astros. So it just helps you work your way to the top, which is really all that or mostly what we're concerned about in tournaments. In that 5-man stack, you have Miguel Amaya, Morel, Horner, Bellinger, and Suzuki. You have the two-man Henderson Santander. So you have them once again going up against Glass now. And then you have the Paul Goldschmidt one-off against Marcus Stroman, who is our SP2 here. Now looking at the exposures, we're going to select our top 150 lineups and sort first by stack exposures. So I did use 5-man, 5-3, 5-2, 4-4, and 4-3 stacks for this video. 5-man stacks, Baltimore, 20% of those, 18%, 4-man Baltimore stacks, 9%, 3-man Baltimore. In terms of 5-man stack exposures, St. Louis is second, Cubs are third. In terms of 4-man, Chicago's second, St. Louis is third. And then 3-mans, we're getting to the Cubs, we're getting to Tampa, then we're getting to Baltimore. Individual player exposures at the top. Hogan Harris at 56%. He's only projected for 15. I talked about it a minute ago. It makes a lot of sense in terms of winning tournaments on a short slate. It's not going to succeed very often. He does have a tough matchup, but you kind of have to put yourself in uncomfortable situations on slates of this size. Now, if you are using this tool and you get a result like this and you're like, okay, I get it. I'll play Hogan Harris, but I still don't need 56%. You do have the ability to just go to the lineups page, scroll down here to where your lineups start being selected, find the lowest Hogan Harris lineups, which of course they're not very far down right now. But so like here, Hogan Harris, you just uncheck this one, uncheck this one, uncheck this one, scroll down and find lineups that he's not in. Click those, and you can manipulate your player pool that way if you're not comfortable with it. That knocked it down a little bit, but point being, he is showing up as a really powerful play here. Gunnar Henderson showing up a ton, 43% getting over the field on him. In terms of our highest leverage guys, it is Harris and Baltimore, Henderson, Santander, Rutschman, Mountcastle. And again, to reiterate, it's not a comfortable spot to be in against Tyler Glass now. It's not going to work out all that much. He is clearly the best pitcher on the slate, but at least you're getting very good players here. This isn't like taking a bad team and just playing like the 8 and 9 hitters a ton and saying, hey, they're low owned, maybe I'll get lucky. You're getting some of the best hitters on the slate, and they are not very popular, especially for a 3-gamer, simply because of the matchup. They still have very high ceilings. They're just less likely to hit them. They have lower median projections. So no issue whatsoever getting to these guys. You have Horner showing up, basically double the field on him. Back to Hayes, another Baltimore bat. Westberg, another Baltimore bat. So not really surprising that you're seeing the Orioles show up like that. So really interesting slate. This is the first video I had done looking at a 3-game slate, and it makes sense. It's nice to have a tool like this that backs up what I think makes sense in your head. Your options on a slate of this size are generally jam in the most popular plays. They're the best plays. Just hope that they go off and you get over the field and you happen to have the right combination, or leverage heavily against the field. And that's how this slate is shaping up. The best plays on the slate are good, but they're not good enough that they warrant jamming in over the field. And so we're seeing us take an approach that's very negatively correlated to the field. And the final thing I wanted to check was just how our pitcher exposures are showing up. So we know we have Harris at the top. Stroman, we're a little bit overweight, 39% with 30% chance or 30% ownership. We are about even on Matz. Huge fade here on Tyler Glass now, which isn't surprising given how much Baltimore we're getting to. And it goes back to what I was just saying. It's not that you're wrong if you want to just play a bunch of Tyler Glass now. There's nothing wrong with that. But on a slate of this size with limited options, getting to these Baltimore bats is grading out, at least right now, as the best approach. And so it is driving down our Glass now. So that's all I have to talk about on this slate. Looks like a pretty interesting 3-gamer. A lot of good options, a lot of good ways you can go. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Give it a thumbs up. Thanks for checking it out, and good luck on your lineups tonight.